I used to believe silence kept the peace. If I stayed quiet, nobody had to bleed. That's what I told myself, until the morning I walked into my father's garage and saw the shelf stripped bare where my metal case should have been. Auburn rain ticked on the tin roof. The garage smelled like oil, wet wood, and time. Dust coated everything. My gaze snagged on the far corner, a clean rectangle in the grime. No metal case, no ribbons, no proof that 10 years of my life had meant something. In the empty outline sat a folded note, bright pink glitter ink screaming against gray. Don't worry, I'll make good use of them. Love, Tessa. My throat tightened, but I didn't cry. I folded the note smaller and slid it into my pocket like evidence. For years I'd let her take and call it family, my patience, my money, my pride, while she told everyone I was the difficult one. I'd mistaken endurance for love. Standing there, I finally understood. Endurance isn't love, it's surrender. Dad was in the living room with the TV too loud, his eyes half closed. When I asked about the case, he barely looked at me. "Maybe your sister moved it," he said, as if it were a wrench. "You don't care about that old stuff anymore." Old stuff. The words hit like a cheap eraser. I went back to the garage doorway and stared at the clean rectangle until the rain changed pitch, harder now, like it was insisting I hear what I'd been avoiding. I didn't know yet what she'd done with my honors. I only knew I was done surrendering forever. I drove back to Seattle with the windshield blurred by rain, the empty rectangle on Dad's shelf burning behind my eyes the whole way. In my apartment, I left my boots by the door and tried to believe it was a mistake I could fix with one call. A week later, my laptop flashed a suggestion. Authentic Air Force medals. Original case. I clicked. My case filled the screen, the same scratch across the lid, the ribbons in the order I'd set years ago. $250. Seller, Tess Breeze. When I called, music thumped, and then my sister's voice, warm and weightless. "Cora, oh, you saw it. Tell me you didn't sell them." "They were collecting dust," she said. "I needed a deposit for my wedding photographer. I'll get you another set." "You can't buy back what you didn't earn," I said. "You sold my life." I ended the call. I texted Dad the screenshot. He replied, "Let it go, it's just stuff." So I opened my service records. Each medal had an issue ID. The humanitarian one, HUM 7K9Q, carried a warning. Restricted origin, classified, Operation Nightglass. My mouth went dry. That medal was never supposed to leave federal custody. 2 days later, during a meeting at Aerodyne, my phone buzzed nonstop. I stepped into the hallway and called home. Dad answered, already frantic. "Federal agents are here. They're taking your sister. They say it's stolen property. You did this to us." "No," I said, steady. "She did." An hour later, an email arrived. Office of Special Investigations. Statement requested from original recipient. Immediate compliance required. That night, a shaky video spread. Tessa in handcuffs, under porch lights, my name in her mouth like blame. Before dawn, I bought a ticket to D.C. D.C. met me with sharp angles and cold air. At OSI headquarters, a woman in a gray suit took my phone, my bag, and walked me into a windowless room that smelled like bleach and printer heat. Special Agent Rowan Keene slid my file across the table. "You're not a suspect, Captain Vale," she said. "But this medal set includes a restricted item tied to Operation Nightglass. We need your statement and the chain of custody." I laid Tessa's glitter note beside the screenshot I'd printed. The paper looked ridiculous under fluorescent light, and that was the point. "That," I said, "is the chain." Rowan's mouth twitched once, almost sympathy. She recorded my account, then let me watch the recovery footage. My case sealed into an evidence bag, the lid scratch catching the camera like a blink. The buyer had already surrendered it, horrified. The classified medal would go back where it belonged. The rest would be returned to me when the case closed. Outside, my sister's tears kept looping online, but the narrative shifted as fast as it had formed. OSI issued a statement. Unauthorized sale of military property, federal penalties pending. Tessa's wedding page went dark. So did my father's number. 3 days later, Dad finally texted, "I'm sorry, I didn't understand." I stood on the Capitol steps in rain and typed back, "Neither did I, not until I ran out of silence." When I flew home, the metal case rode in my carry-on, heavier than its metal. I set it on my shelf, right where it should be. And for the first time, the quiet felt earned.